Morning, Ron. Do you want to turn on your camera and say something and we can test it?
Sure. Can you hear me?
I can, and I can see you too. Yep, looks
Great.
good.
Things look great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. I'm Mark Blank, and this is the Commissioners' Weekly Meeting for March 20th, 2024. Commissioner Plant, any preliminary remarks? Or are you prepared to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I would vote to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Goman,
I would also vote to approve the consent agenda.
as would I. Proceeding number 23A-0203R, Dr. Fishaber.
Good morning, Commissioners. With your permission, I'd like to take items 1 and 2 together.
Yep.
For item 2, BNSF is requesting authority to install additional off-quadrant flashing lights at the crossing of Nickel Street with the tracks of the BNSF from what was already approved by the Commission, decision C23-0383 in the item 1 proceeding. The City and County of Broomfield intervened in this matter. While they don't contest the application, they did file their intervention to clarify some of the inaccuracies in the BNSF application. For item 1, the City and County of Broomfield filed for an extension of time to file their construction and maintenance agreement, which they filed on March 13th. So I'll make a recommendation on that one right now that the Commission should deny that motion as moot.
Do you want us to vote now, or do you want to take up the second one?
I'll continue up with the second one. So in proceeding 23A-0203R, Broomfield sought the authority to install concrete crossing material for a detached walk along the west side of the existing crossing and updating the existing interconnection between an existing traffic signal at Nickel Street and US 287 and in the existing railroaded signal. Additionally, that project also included installing a second traffic signal at the intersection of Industrial Lane, which is south of the BNSF track crossing, and that was connected to the existing signal at Nickel Street and US 287, so that now both traffic signals are interconnected to the railroad signal bungalow. And the Commission approved that by decision C23-0383. With the instant application, BNSF is requesting authority to install additional off-quadrant flashing lights at its own expense. BNSF seeks to install the additional flashing lights for the protection of non-motorized vehicles and pedestrians using the detached walk at the Nickel Street crossing. BNSF believes this additional warning is needed along with the detached walk to provide visual notice to adjacent trail users approaching from the west, particularly for the protection of those using the detached walk who are deaf or hearing impaired. They seek to install this in conjunction with what was approved previously by the Commission for the City and County of Broomfield. In support of their request, BNSF is stating that the MUTCD Rule 83.07 requires that pathway crossings use an active traffic control system such as this one, because they shall include flashing light signals on the approach to each approach to the crossing. They do note that the rule does permit the option to omit the flashing light signals at pathway grade crossings that are located within 25 feet of an active warning device, and the grade crossing in question is equipped with these devices. Broomfield, in their clarification of intervention, clarifies that the design of the proposed detached sidewalk adjacent to the Nickel Street crossing is in compliance with the currently adopted MUTCD in Colorado, which is the 2009 version with a Colorado supplement, and that Colorado has an additional 2 years to adopt the MUTCD reference standard that BNSF is using in this case. Because the 2009 standard allows detached walks within 25 feet of existing active warning devices at the Nickel Street crossing, which is equipped with this device, the separate flashing light signals may be omitted. Broomfield did determine and omitted those additional flashers requested by BNSF, as that decision is the roadway authority's discretion. Second, Broomfield also highlights concerns with the Exhibit 3 in the application. That exhibit uses Broomfield's plans from its application and identifies a field of vision that is not realistic. Broomfield states that the detached walk users will have view of the existing active crossing warning devices at the Nickel Street crossing. They note that the exhibit inaccurately presents that the existing flashing flashers are aimed at the roadway, but the existing flashers are perpendicular to the roadway and will remain so. The existing flasher is visible to all approach traffic, both on the roadway and the proposed detached sidewalk. As BNSF points to the 2023 MUTCD standard, they omitted the first part of section 3 that says, if used at a pathway or grade crossing, then flashing lights are required on all quadrants. And if they're located more than 25 feet from the crossing itself. The 2009 MUTCD plus state supplement is what is currently adopted in Colorado for the state of Colorado, and using an MUTCD that is not currently in use in Colorado and misstating the information does not help BNSF meet its burden of proof. Additionally, a review of the photos in BNSF's Exhibit 6 match more with Broomfield's explanation of the field division at that site as opposed to BNSF's. Broomfield's clarifications provide more accurate summary of conditions at the crossing and the thought process that was used to make the decision that the additional flashing light pair is not necessary at the crossing. I'll pause for questions, or I'm ready for a recommendation.
Yeah, if you can give the recommendation, and then we'll come back with questions, comments, discussion, or a vote.
Okay, so for item 1, the recommendation is to delay the motion as minute by minute entry since the signed C&M agreement has been submitted. And for item 2, staff recommends that the commission deem the application complete and deny the applications. BNSF has not met their burden of proof in this matter, given that Broomfield has already made a determination that the extra flashing light pair is unnecessary to provide warning to its citizens for the crossing.
Hey, before I go to my colleagues, Dr. Fishaber, did you say the railroad was willing to pay for the signal, so it's not on the city or others? Did I hear that right?
Correct.
Commissioner Plant, thoughts, comments, questions?
I'd approve the recommendation. I think Broomfield's the governing local authority here, and they've made their position clear. And there was also some factual, I think, pretty serious factual omissions in the BNSF application. So I would support the recommendation.
Commissioner Goman.
I agree.
As do I, and that can be one decision by minute entry and the other with an ABC order deeming the application complete and denying it consistent with your recommendation. So thank you, Dr. Fishaber.
Thank you, commissioners.
Proposed amendments to commission rules having to do with community solar gardens. Mr. Sufiani and Mr. Mosley. And before you jump into it, Mr. Sufiani, I understand this may be your swan song after many years of service to the commission. So just want to recognize the role you've played and publicly wish you best of luck going forward.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yes, it's somewhat bittersweet. I really appreciate my years here at the Commission and everyone I've worked with, and very much looking forward to see what you all do in the energy transition and protecting the public interest. So thank you for that.
Keep going.
All righty. I'm Sina Sufiani with the engineering staff. House Bill 23-1137 was signed into law in April 2023 and is codified as Section 40-2-127 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. And it directs the Commission to adopt rules to implement a Community Solar Garden or CSG fixed bill credit by June 30th, 2024. Current law requires an electric retail utility to offer a billing credit as the means of purchasing output from a CSG located within the utility service territory and establishes the means of calculating the billing credit. House Bill 1137 allows for the billing credit amounts to take one of two forms. The first is a bill credit amount that changes annually, which is the current status quo. And the second is a bill credit amount that remains fixed starting at the time the subscriber organization applies for or bids capacity into a utility CSG program. To begin the rulemaking process, staff has drafted the accompanying Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, or NOPR, and red line rules, which have also been reviewed by Commission Counsel. Staff believes the rulemaking may be narrowly focused on Rule 3881 related to billing credits. Accordingly, the red line rules reflect simple amendments only to Rule 3881, and they capture the statutory changes from House Bill 1137. In terms of a procedural schedule for the rulemaking, if the Commission adopts the NOPR today, the NOPR would be sent to the Secretary of State for publication in the April 10th edition of the Colorado Register. Comments from interested parties would be filed May 1st. The hearing on the rulemaking would be May 8th, with post-hearing comments filed by May 24th. And finally, the written decision adopting the rules would be issued by statutory deadline of June 30th. I'll pause here for questions, or I can give a recommendation.
Yeah, if you could give your recommendation, that'd be great.
Staff recommends opening a rulemaking proceeding to implement House Bill 1137, adopting the NOPR, and approving the suggested procedural schedule.
Commissioner Plant,
I approve the recommendation.
Commissioner Gutman,
I agree.
as do I, and that can be an ABC decision, opening the rulemaking, issuing a NOPR, and the proposed rules, and setting the public comment hearing consistent with your recommendation. So thank you, Mr. Sufiani.
Thank you.
I think that concludes our agenda for today. An easy one. I fear we may pay for it in April, but for today, enjoy it. Any final thoughts before we adjourn, Commissioner Plant?
Been a while since we had a 10-minute weekly meeting. That's great. Nope, no other comments. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna. I fear we may pay for it, but Commissioner Gutman.
No, just join you in wishing Mr. Sufiani luck and appreciate his service here at the Colorado PUC.
Amen. With that, we're adjourned. Thanks all.